Hey Ed, how's it going? Let's get this started. So, as you know, protocol buffers are a big thing for me. That was my project. And to get started, obviously, you need, aside from the library, you need every protocol file that you're going to generate needs a template on how to make it. So, as you notice, we've got our Azul audio clip, an Azul model, a byte test that I did, and so on. This is the template itself, the proto file. So, the proto file is going to serve as your template. In this case, I already opened the Azul model right here. So as you can see, a proto file, this is basically how you generate the template. So you got the syntax, which is the language that you're using. In this case, it's Proto 2. There's two at the moment being used for Google, Proto 2 and Proto 3. Proto 2 is the one that I'm using at the moment, so it's the simple one. It's the trusted and tried and true. And then you need to name the package. This is going to be a package, and in this case I named it Azul 3D Model System. This will come into play in C++. Let's keep an eye on it. And then you declare the message itself, or in this case the class structure. I don't know why Google names it message, but all right, we'll do it. So it's called Basic Azul Model. So here's our template. As you can see, there's is it required? Is it optional? I think there's another one called repeated, which repeated technically ends up being a list. Obviously, we're not going to use it here. I used it for the PCS3, but again, that's another story. The type of variable it is, in this case, this is a string, integer 32, unsigned integer 32, so forth, and obviously this is the big one, bytes. All right, so you notice the name, and then these are tag numbers, depending on what you want. Each message can contain up to 16 or even more. I think 16 is a recommended tags. And then finally, one little note that I want to make is when you're declaring strings or bytes or anything that has like character chars, like a char buffer, Google asks you silently with an error, crashing everything, that you should, whenever you declare one of these, you should always have a default, even if it's just 0 or empty. So it initiates at least something, it's not just an empty null string. Anyways, so let's check out the C++ part. Alright, coming into the serializer library, because I decided to make a library and I guess it would be easier to transport back and forth. We have a serializer. As you notice, we have a serializer singleton class. Here's our protocol templates. These are the headers. Oh crap, I forgot. Oh yeah, these are the headers. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, so I forgot to mention, sorry about this. So I forgot to mention very quick, as you notice, these are the template files, the proto files. Google generates these for you, the source and the header files for you. All you gotta do is use this, the protoc.exe, as a command argument. This will help you generate these files, the header and the source of each protocol. Alright, sorry about that. Now, the serializer is pretty straightforward. There's two ways. The Azul basic model, I created a wrapper class if you want to do that. This is like the long route, but the safe one. And then there's the straight out version with the audio clip, which is just, again, as you notice, this is the package name of the audio clip. This is the protocol, the message itself, or the class. Alright, so let's take a look at the Azul basic model so you know what I mean. Cool. So now that we're in the serializer singleton itself, taking a look at the serializing function, we pass in the wrapper. Again, it's the same wrapper. And to create a protocol class, or message in this case, so we use the package name, Azul 3D Model System. This is the package name, and then obviously we call in the message or the class structure itself, and obviously the name of our protocol, and we open it using standard fstream. We give the name of the file, and then we put in our flags. It's a binary. We're opening it as a binary always. I always tend to do this as binary always. We have our input. If it couldn't open, it'll create a new one. Here we go. So you do all the same things. This is the Google protocol. As you can see, again, Google auto generates these for you in its headers and source files. So we got set num verts, offset verts, size verts, number of triangles, size, blah, 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 blah. We have our buffers, all the data that we'll be getting in for our 3D models. And finally, once you're set and done, we finally do another standard F stream, but as an output. Again, you put your flags, you flag it as an out, truncated, binary, and last but not least, you return success. I created this serialization result, kind of like the error enums, just makes things easier. So for deserializing, again, my wrapper already contains the said vertex info and triangle info. Pretty straightforward. You just pass in the data from the protocol that you read, and mem said mem copying as always. Sorry, passing in the protocol itself. So let's take a quick look at the straightforward version. Again, the package name of the Azul audio clip is the audio system. And one more time, again, this is a pretty straightforward one. No wrappers needed, so this one is shorter. And again, we just input it, copy the file, and then finally write it out. And one more time, deserializing, give us the class that you created. Here's a temporal one, and then just finally return from it. That's pretty much it. So let's go to the converter. All right, so pretty quick, before we get to the converter, we just need to, I need to emphasize that where the solution file is located, always copy a folder called Protobuff, because we're going to need this. I know that we have a library, which is the whole idea of the serializer functions, but the protocols themselves, I still need the SDK, quote unquote, for the protocol buffer. It's not a big deal. It's a pretty small buffer, and our protocols are located there. All right, so we're going to be converting human scale FBX. A good friend at work helped me out with that one. Again, pretty straightforward. You link the project library and all the files. We have our protocol source files for the converter, and we have our serializer headers. Again, the library will be in charge of all source files are in the library except for the protocol ones. And once we're done with that, let's get this party started. Let's convert the human scale one. And hold on. All right, so now that we've arrived to our writing protocol part, I'm going to call it AMGP file, Azul Model Google Protocol. Finally, once that's done, obviously the converter does everything for you. Let's get to the serialization part, and then serialize. Again, we're calling our serializer singleton, and then just serialize everything. Here's my wrapper class, the Protoc file. This one, the Protoc Azul Basic Model. And that's pretty much it. The serializer itself just does it for you. And this should generate a file called human scale AMGP right here. So this is our protocol file. Hooray. So, all right, now that we're in the engine, so the engine itself, we're going to create the model. The model class is going to be reading the protocol buffer file. All right, so we're going to read it here. Again, we're going to get in. It's a protocol buffer. I just added this, and then we're going to create the VAO from the protobuffer. And again, here's the wrapper class. One more time, we don't need this. This is the long route. That's how I went. We deserialize it. We give the file name. Oh crap! Right, I forgot the debug keep CPP. Don't worry, just ignore it for now. I'll fix it later. We get the numbers, we deserialize it. As you can see, it returns the protocol buffer model, and then we just read the model itself. And again, this is back to our good old engine, FBX, VBOs, everything inserted. This is for the other one. I know, sorry, I'll fix that later. And finally, here's the phone files, and last but not least, ta-da! So both the frigate and this human scale guy that a friend of work gave me. I know the normals are all screwed up, but this is my converter. Don't worry, this is just my converter style. Don't worry about that. This is my converter, not the protocol buffer. The protocol buffer is just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Anyways, so this is working. As you can see, this is straightforward. The space frigate is also an AMGP file. Where is it? There you are. So space frigate AMGP. It's the same process as the human scale. And this is pretty much it about protocol buffers. Again, if you want to check out here, let me show you. So I'm going to wrap this up quick. This is the audio clip. Obviously, again, the Azul audio system, audio clip. Required string, clip name, why not? Clip ID and the audio data as bytes. Again, don't worry about the bytes. It technically, Google says it's a string, but you can open it as a void buffer or as a char star buffer. So no worries there. As of right now, I was still, yeah, so as of right now, my audio engine, again, it does play audio, but not the protocol. Sorry, still working on it. Again, I'll get this done tomorrow night at most. I'm nearly there. It's just a matter of opening the protocol. I already have the serializer, so more than half of the work is done. And I'll just open like a regular file. Thank you so much for, your patience. I know it's been a rough quarter for me, but I got this done, thankfully. So again, if you need any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'll get that research paper as soon as possible. And, once again, if you need anything, let me know. I'm available, and, the serializer is there for you. So, all right. Thanks, Ed. See you later.